In a previous video, we talked about the most underrated traits of each personality type. The quiet strengths, the subtle powers, the things you bring to the world that don't always get noticed, but deeply matter. If you haven't seen that video yet, I highly recommend watching it first, because today, we're going deeper. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Every strength has a shadow. Every gift can become a liability. And the traits that make you special can also become the very things that trip you up, especially when they go unchecked. This video isn't about tearing anyone down. It's about understanding yourself more honestly, about seeing where your best qualities might be quietly working against you, so you can use them with intention instead of letting them run on autopilot. If you've ever thought, why does this thing I'm good at keep causing problems? Or, why do people misunderstand my intentions so badly? This video is for you. Quick reminder, these are still general patterns, not diagnoses or destiny. You are always more than 4 letters. If you appreciate MBTI content that doesn't just flatter you, but actually helps you evolve, hit like, subscribe, and drop your type in the comments as we go. Because at Personality IRL, we don't just spotlight your strengths, we help you understand how to use them wisely. Alright, let's talk about the flip side of your underrated traits. These types often don't realize how much emotional weight they carry until it starts to weigh them down. The ISTJ's underrated strength is their quiet loyalty and reliability. But when taken too far, that loyalty can turn into silent self-sacrifice. ISTJs may keep showing up long after they feel unseen, unappreciated, or overburdened, because they made a commitment. They may endure unhealthy situations simply because it's what needs to be done. Over time, resentment builds, but it's rarely expressed. The dark side isn't cruelty, it's endurance without boundaries. ISTJs don't break easily, but they can slowly disappear inside obligations that no longer honor them. The ESTJ's underrated trait is their drive to create stability and security. But when overextended, that drive can slip into control and rigidity. Because they genuinely care, ESTJs may start assuming responsibility for everything, including decisions that aren't theirs to make. They can unintentionally override others' autonomy in the name of doing things right. The dark side isn't domination. It's believing that if you don't manage everything, everything will fall apart. ESTJs sometimes need to remember that trust is also a form of structure. The INTJ's underrated strength is their deep, long-term commitment to people they choose. But when misused, that care can turn into emotional detachment disguised as logic. INTJs may assume that planning, advising, or optimizing someone's future is emotional support, without realizing the other person needs presence, not solutions. They can grow impatient with emotional processing and unintentionally invalidate feelings they don't see as productive. The dark side isn't coldness, it's caring so strategically that warmth gets lost. INTJs thrive when they remember that connection doesn't always need a plan. The ENTJ's underrated trait is how fiercely they believe in people's potential. But when unchecked, that belief can feel like relentless pressure. ENTJs may push others before they're ready, equating growth with constant forward motion. When someone struggles, ENTJs might interpret it as wasted potential instead of human pacing. The dark side isn't arrogance. It's assuming strength looks the same for everyone. ENTJs grow when they learn that encouragement sometimes means slowing down, not speeding up. The planner's strength lies in responsibility. Their challenge is remembering they don't have to carry everything alone. These next types feel deeply, and that depth can become heavy when turned inward. The ISFJ's underrated strength is their strategic anticipatory care. But over time, that care can turn into chronic self-neglect. ISFJs may become so focused on meeting others' needs that they lose touch with their own. They might assume their role is to support, not to ask. Eventually they feel drained but guilty for feeling that way. The dark side isn't martyrdom. It's forgetting you are allowed to take up space too. ISFJs grow when they treat their own needs as equally legitimate. The INFJ's underrated trait is their grounded intuition and pattern recognition. But when misused, that insight can turn into emotional isolation. INFJs may believe they already understand how things will unfold, causing them to withdraw prematurely. They might stop explaining themselves, assuming others won't get it anyway. The dark side isn't superiority. It's loneliness built from self-protection. INFJs thrive when they let people surprise them, even imperfectly. The ISFP's underrated strength is their courage to live authentically. But taken too far, authenticity can turn into avoidance of discomfort. ISFPs may walk away from situations that feel misaligned instead of communicating through conflict. They may protect their inner world so fiercely that they stop letting others in at all. The dark side isn't selfishness. It's choosing peace so quickly that growth never gets a chance. ISFPs grow when they realize authenticity can include hard conversations. The INFP's underrated trait is their emotional resilience and hope, but that resilience can become emotional overextension. INFPs may keep believing, forgiving, and empathizing long after a situation has proven unhealthy. They can mistake endurance for virtue and delay boundaries in the name of compassion. The dark side isn't naivety. It's loving without limits. INFPs thrive when they learn that protecting their heart doesn't make them less kind. The feelers' hearts are powerful, but even strong hearts need boundaries. These types move fast and sometimes outrun their own awareness. The ESTP's underrated strength is their real-time awareness, but that awareness can become emotional detachment when things slow down. ESTPs may avoid deeper emotional processing by staying in motion. When situations require stillness, vulnerability, or reflection, they can disengage instead of sit with discomfort. The dark side isn't recklessness, it's avoiding depth through action. ESTPs grow when they let themselves pause without escaping. The ESFP's underrated strength is their emotional attunement and presence. But that can become self-abandonment if they prioritize others' feelings too often. ESFPs may become the emotional glue for everyone else while quietly burning out. They might feel unseen because they're always focused on making others feel good. The dark side isn't superficiality. It's giving joy away without refilling your own cup. ESFPs thrive when they allow themselves to receive care, not just give it. The ENTP's underrated trait is their loyalty expressed through challenge. But unchecked, that can turn into instability or emotional inconsistency. ENTPs may unintentionally exhaust others by constantly questioning, reframing, or debating, especially in emotional moments where reassurance is needed more than analysis. The dark side isn't insensitivity. It's forgetting that not every moment needs to be intellectually optimized. ENTPs grow when they learn when to challenge and when to simply stay. The ENFP's underrated strength is their emotional pattern recognition. But that insight can turn into emotional overreach. ENFPs may assume responsibility for others' growth, healing, or self-awareness. They might push people to go deeper before those people are ready. The dark side isn't intensity. It's caring so much that you forget where you end and others begin. ENFPs thrive when they trust others' timing as much as their own intuition. The action seekers bring movement and life. Their challenge is knowing when to stop moving. These types stabilize others, but sometimes at their own expense. The ISTP's underrated strength is their calm under pressure. But when overused, that calm can become emotional shutdown. ISTPs may detach too quickly, avoiding emotional complexity by staying in problem-solving mode. Others may feel dismissed, even when the ISTP simply doesn't know how to engage emotionally. The dark side isn't indifference, it's protecting yourself by disconnecting. ISTPs grow when they let emotions exist without needing to fix them. The INTP's underrated strength is intellectual humility, but that humility can turn into indecision or self-doubt. INTPs may delay action endlessly, waiting for perfect understanding. They can underestimate their own clarity, assuming they need more data before speaking or acting. The dark side isn't confusion, it's undervaluing your own insight. INTPs thrive when they trust that imperfect action still counts. The ENFJ's underrated trait is their ability to guide and grow others. But taken too far, that guidance becomes emotional over-responsibility. ENFJs may feel accountable for others' happiness, progress, or choices. When things go wrong, they blame themselves, even when it's not theirs to carry. The dark side isn't control. It's loving people so much you forget your own limits. ENFJs grow when they remember they can support without saving. The ESFJ's underrated strength is preserving relationships and traditions. But that preservation can become resistance to necessary change. ESFJs may cling to routines or roles long after they stop serving anyone. They may fear that change equals loss. The dark side isn't rigidity, it's protecting connection at the cost of growth. ESFJs thrive when they allow bonds to evolve, not just endure. Your underrated trait isn't a flaw, but it does need awareness, because the same qualities that make you valuable can become heavy when overused, misunderstood, or unbalanced. Growth doesn't mean losing your strengths. It means learning how to use them without losing yourself. Now it's your turn. Drop your MBTI type in the comments and tell us which part of this felt the most accurate, and what strength are you learning to use more wisely? If this video made you feel seen, not judged, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Here at Personality IRL, we don't just celebrate who you are, we help you become who you're capable of being. And remember, self-awareness isn't self-criticism, it's self-respect.